Up. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Tammy. Well, if you want to take a little summer vacation, but you don't have the time or the money to get away, you might want to explore the valley. Our Tina Patel is live in studio with some ideas. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. Well, local tour companies say they show off the desert to a lot of visitors, but they say local residents would be surprised by what they'd find if they took one of the tours. A lot of us know that the Indians were the original settlers of the Coachella Valley, but there's actually archaeological sites not too far from where a lot of us live that actually show the history that's here. Mitch from Red Jeep Tours is with me, and I had no idea. I mean, what kind of stuff are we talking about is found in a site like this?
Well, what you're looking here is a recreation of a Kuya Indian village. The site here is an actual Indian site. They lived at this site as much as 2,000 to 2,600 years ago. This actually sits on the Wilhelm Metate Ranch, and Metate is the name for the grinding stones. So when you're looking at these areas here where you're digging down, we find all kinds of really neat artifacts here from when they were grinding and making their foods and that type of thing. The big stone you see in front with the yellow flag, that is a metate. You see the hole in it? That's where they would grind the grains. And by measuring the density of the rock and the depth of the holes, we can determine how long they were living at these various sites. There are actually many of them across this valley here because they all lived around the ancient Lake Kuya that was the entire valley.
And I don't think a lot of people realize this. We actually have found an arrowhead that's from this site, and you can kind of take a look and see what we're talking about. Do people that live in this area even realize the history that's right here?
Most people don't realize how rich the Native American history is here, and that's one of the beauties of the Coachella Valley is we have a wonderful, wonderful history with the Native Americans here who lived here for a very, very long, long time. And as you go around here, as well as on the opposite side of Indian Canyons, wonderful, wonderful things to discover, and to discover primarily how they existed out here. And what you think is a barren desert, it's not. We have water bubbling out of the ground. We have a lot of beautiful things here that absolutely surprise people. And one of our favorite things is to bring the locals out, people who've lived here for 40 years, and they're going, my gosh, we lived here all our lives and never realized this is what was here in this beautiful
You were talking
desert.
about that water, and actually there's some right kind of behind us, and we'll pan over the cameras and show. I mean, I don't think that people realize that this is all kind of the natural landscape. Well, you're right. I think when we talk about the desert, we expect it to all be the desert.
Yeah, what we're looking at here is one of the first signs of a managed water system by the Native Americans. The water actually bubbles in a spring up north of the village just above us here and cascades down through 3 different pools. So the upper pool is cooking and drinking, the next pool would be washing and bathing, and this pool here would be industrial uses like tanning hides, that type of thing. So they actually had a very sophisticated water system. And of course the plant life here, this blows by the wind. We get all kinds of amazing plants, and surprisingly enough, we even find huge fish inside here like bass and what have you that are brought on by wings of birds that land here to clean themselves and might have a fertilized egg on board, and all of a sudden we've got fish in the pond.
Once again, you were saying you get a lot of visitors come with Red Jeep Tours, but for locals, does it seem like it's something that more of us should take advantage of?
Absolutely. One of the biggest surprises is, of course, we all do this where we live. We forget to look at what's right where we live. We travel to see something else, and that's what's so fun to bring the locals out here because they really do live in an amazing place. Coachella Valley is actually a desert paradise. As you know, we sit on one of the largest aquifers in the world, and part of our tours we take you back into the oasis and you see the water literally bubbling out of the ground 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then you see all this amazing plant life, medicinal plants, just an incredible array of wonderful, wonderful plant lives and wildlife out here as well. We have mountain lions and bobcat and kit fox and coyotes.
A whole bunch of hidden treasures. We're going to put some information up on the screen. If you want to start to learn a little bit more about what may be just right in your backyard, Red Jeep Tours is a good way to take you to those places that you maybe never thought existed right here in the valley. And that Indian village is just one of the Red Jeep Tours that is available. In our next half hour, we're going to take you to a real gold mining camp right here in the desert. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Tina. We'll be right back.
I'm California Highway Patrol Officer Tammy Lowe. Make sure you buckle up. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Tammy. Well, if you'd like to take a little summer vacation, but you don't have the time, the money, or the energy to get out of town, you might want to explore some of our valley. And Tina Patel joins us in studio this morning with some ideas. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning, Gino. Well, we all know about the resorts and the golf courses that we have here in our valley, but most of us don't really realize the history that's also around here. California is the Golden State, but did you know that gold was found just a few miles away from what's now India and actually is still found these days? Mitch joins me this morning from Red Jeep Tours, and so you guys actually have an authentic mining village here so close to where we live.
Just right across the roadway here on the Indio Hills, we have the Damco mine area here. And we use this for parties, and we also bring the people here on tours. They can actually tour down through the mine here. But what's surprising for people is to realize in the little San Bernardinos north of us, By the end of the 1890s, over 2,000 mining claims here. The Bradshaw Road, as you know, came through the valley here. It was all about moving gold. And lots of gold came through. Some very famous mines are here in the valley. The Desert Queen Mine up in Joshua Tree, the Lost Horse Mine, the Gold Coin Mine. They're all right here.
And I think a lot of people think Northern California is where the gold is, but now when you have these tours and these people are actually panning like they are right now, they might find something still even to this day.
Absolutely. We let them pan for gold here on the tours, and they get to keep what they find. And every once in a while, someone actually finds a really cool gold nugget here. Of course, they find fool's gold more than they find the real gold, but once in a while, there's some real stuff here. Remember, this is all fault gouge here on the fault, and this washes down from those mountains. So this gold is in the soil here. You can actually mine the gold here. Only problem is the cost of doing that is greater than the value of the gold.
Well, let's also show the village that you have here, because a lot of what we're seeing is actually from the olden days when people used to be here and mining, right?
Yeah, the original mine camps were not Dodge cities. They were just little shacks, and you can see some of the original facades that we had over here as we rebuilt the mine camp here. Of course, a lot of it on the other side here is new, but what you're looking at here are some of the old parts of the original mine camps here, and we tried to recreate it and show you what a mine camp would have been like. And when we do the parties and stuff out here in the evenings, we try to bring that to life and let people see that, wow, right here in the desert was a huge gold operation. And off of the Bradshaw stage line over here, we have an 1800s telegraph that was here, one of the first telegraphs through here, and we show you the map of the Bradshaw line, and you realize every 10 miles there was a stop like this, with liveries, horses, water. It was a big undertaking to do this.
So it's amazing because we think of the Coachella Valley and we think everything's kind of popped up in the last 50 years, but really that's just what we normally see, what we normally look at. We don't realize that, you know, there's a history most of us don't know.
Absolutely. There, you know, we're looking at the resorts and the golf courses, which we're famous for, but we also have an amazing history that goes back to the original pioneers. Lots of water here, and that means this is where the homesteaders were. When you drive through and you see all the little homestead huts, those were called jackrabbit homesteads. For $10 and a $2 agent fee, you got 160 acres of land, and we had a lot of them through here. And then when they found gold in the hills, whoa, this was a big-time area.
I bet. Well, if you want to see for yourself Red Jeep tours, runs tours, even in the summertime, you can come and take your chance at maybe finding a little gold. Let's put the information so you can see if you want to learn a little bit more about what's right here in our backyard in the Coachella Valley. And during the summer, Red Jeep Tours runs early in the morning and late at night, so you don't have to worry about being out in the heat of the day. We'll be right back.